Are tube amps actually that much better than solid state amps, and do they really sound that different? Well, I have one of each here, so today I'm going to show you how different these actually sound and hopefully help you decide if you should buy a tube amp over a solid state. I do want to point out that this Vox amp is significantly more expensive than this Fender, so I know it's not a perfect comparison, but this is what I have to work with, so it'll get the job done. So, solid state amps amplify the sound of your guitar through a bunch of wires and just solid state digital stuff that I don't fully understand. But that's basically how a solid state amp amplifies the sound of your guitar. It's all very just digital and kind of processed sound. Now, tube amps, on the other hand, amplify the sound of your guitar through physical tubes, these little glass tubes. There's a couple of them in there, and that is how the sound is created, so it's not such a digital process sound. I also don't completely understand that, but that's basically the difference between the two of these amps in terms of how they create the sound, or how they amplify the sound. I'm going to play through both of these amps in just a moment, but first of all, why do so many people love tube amps over solid state amps? Are they really like, what's the difference in the sound? And I don't know exactly how well it'll come across on a camera or over a video on YouTube, but the sound from a tube amp is a much more warm analog sound over a solid state amp, and that's why so many people like it better, because it just gives you a much more expressive sound than a solid state amp would. When you're playing, if you play really softly, then it sounds really soft and quiet, but if you play really hard, then it sounds like you're playing really hard, and it just kind of translates how you play a little bit better than a solid state amp would. Alright, now I'm going to play a few things through this Fender amp here, and then I'll play the same thing through the Vox and put those back to back so you can really hear the difference between these two amps. I hope that comes across well on video, because this amp just sounds phenomenal, especially playing it back to back with this one. The tone just feels more lifelike on this one versus on this one. It's just kind of it's a sound. It just kind of makes sound. That's really all it is. There are a few downsides of having a tube amp, besides them being just more expensive in the first place. The tubes in these, they do go bad, and how often they go bad just kind of depends on how much you play it, but when they go bad, they can be kind of pricey to replace, which is certainly a downside. You have to pay every so often to replace those tubes, and that's usually something you can do by yourself. Just pop a few things in and out, and then you're all good to go. There are also a few other parts in these that I know can go bad. I don't know exactly what those are, I don't really know much about like what's happening inside, as you can probably tell. I just like how it sounds. So there's more potential maintenance with these, but overall, in my personal opinion, it's definitely worth it just because of how good it sounds. Solid state amps can still certainly sound good and sound very good, but they're still not quite the same as a tube amp. And this Vox is just one example of a tube amp. Fender tube amps, I've played through several of those and they always just like blow me away every time I play through one. They sound even better than this. In general, tube amps just sound a little bit better. They just feel better to play through. Now, if you are looking to buy an amp, I would strongly advise you to go to a guitar store and just play through the amp you're thinking about buying. Play through that and a couple others, say in the same price range or from different brands. Just actually get a feel for it in person, see if you like how it sounds. You can mess with the knobs, you can actually play with it, play through it with your own guitar or with, you know, a nicer guitar, and just see if you like it in person, because you might love how it sounds online and then go play it and actually hate it. Well, you don't want to base that decision solely off of YouTube videos like this one. It is very helpful and very good idea to do your research. So if you want to see a full-length, in-depth review on this Vox AC10 amp, you can check that out right up here on the screen, and I'll see you over there.